Everyone's talking about Fortnite at the moment, aren't they?
We're not.
No, not us.
They didn't send us key, did they?
No, we asked.
We asked them.
Nicely. We asked politely, can we have a key for the game so we can talk about it? Because it's a free-to-play game, but the only way to play it is to pay for this free-to-play game, which makes it...
While it's in early access?
Yeah, so which makes it not free-to-play at all. We can't talk about Fortnite, even though we want to, because we're not approved influencers, apparently.
And if we're spending 50 quid on it, that's for sure.
Yeah, so that is our early access review of Fortnite.
Off. Horror fans rejoiced back when, in May, they could finally play as everyone's favourite machete-wielding psychopath, Jason Voorhees, in the official Friday the 13th, The Game. When the game released, it was a buggy mess full of glitches, bugs, and the second worst facial animations we've seen in a game this year. Despite all these problems, fans still enjoyed the game and found it to be an enjoyable romp. But now the developers, Illfonic, announced a new game, and Friday fans thought they'd been abandoned. Natural reaction to someone doing anything other than what you want them to do. Yeah. I've been abandoned. Oh.
The game is out, so...
Yeah, just saying. Illfonic announced a new zombie shooter called Dead Alliance, and fans on the Friday forums expressed frustration that the devs are making a new game when Friday the 13th still suffers from numerous bugs and crashes. However, Illfonic quickly addressed the situation and said the rumour they abandoned Friday the 13th is 100% untrue. Not 99%, 100%.
Categorical.
They said, "We assure you, continued support for Friday the 13th, the game, has not been abandoned. In fact, it's quite the opposite. The new game is being developed by a separate team, and a second office has been opened up with the sole purpose to support the development of Friday the 13th.
Okay, so two things have happened here. One guy's made a forum post saying, well, I guess Friday the 13th has been abandoned. Then that has had 70 replies. Then Eurogamer has seen that and written an article saying, fans think that Friday the 13th has been abandoned. Before you know it, there's a whole shitstorm around this thing, and the developers are having to respond. And that is a pretty firm denial there. It's like, don't worry, we've actually hired more staff, we're still working on the game, we're just also working on this other game. There's nothing to see here, and there really isn't. I think the lesson to be learned is just don't jump to conclusions based on forums.
It reminds me of my kids, right? What if one of my kids gets a turn at a game or something before the other one, the younger one might say, oh, why don't I get a go? Yeah, well, right. I haven't said you're not getting a f***ing go. You'll still get a go, but someone else's go first. Yeah. It's like a jump into conclusions, and you're 6-year-old. Okay, I can deal with that. But when these are grown f***ing men, I mean, they should get over it, surely.
I'm sure you don't swear at them like that, though, do you?
No comment.
And elsewhere in the news, the other day we covered the absolute disaster that was the Pokémon Go Festival in Chicago, Illinois. Players flew in from all around the world to have fun and catch some rare Pokémon, but the reality of the situation was not what they were promised at all, as players couldn't log into the game, the network infrastructure just wasn't up to the task, and attendees had to queue for hours at a time. Now, after that catastrophe, Pokémon Go developers Niantic have said they were horrified by what took place. A spokesperson for the team told the press that the team is extremely apologetic and unhappy with the results. The spokesperson said, just know that the staff here are pretty horrified with the results, so they want to make good as fast as possible. So hopefully this is something that we will never see replicated again, learn from this and move on.
PR team in full defense mode there, basically. They're trying to make reparations for the shitstorm that happened, because everybody covered it. It was such a total fiasco, total letdown for the fans. People travel miles and miles to come to this event. If you buy a ticket to a music concert and none of the artists have got instruments, it's just like that. Like, you go there for a certain thing to hear a certain thing, but you don't get what you went there for. It was complete catastrophe. They're obviously saying the right things now.
Oh yeah, perfect. They're distancing themselves by saying, oh, we were as horrified as you were with what happened, and it kind of makes it seem like it's not their fault somehow, that it's someone else's fault. So there you go. Excellent PR work there.
It's no secret that Sony and the PS4 have been dominating console sales for a few years now. Microsoft had a lot of catching up to do and goodwill to make up following the poorly received Xbox One announcement back in 2013, and we say they've done a pretty good job. But Microsoft recently released their earnings report for Q4 2017, which showed a 3% growth in gaming revenue but a 29% drop in hardware sales. So despite the generous price cuts in the Xbox One, it wasn't enough to make up for the decline in the volume of consoles sold. However, it could be possible that people who are interested in the Xbox One are just holding out for the Xbox One X in a few months' time. But Microsoft are taking this news like a champ, and they said that they're proud of the progress they've made this this year. Like an encouraging father, isn't it? Well done, champ.
I think there's something to that though. I think the fact that the Xbox One X is coming, they probably would have predicted that that would harm their sales. Because why the hell would you buy an Xbox One if you were a gamer? Why would you get an Xbox One if you know that there was a better one coming down the line, which you still don't know how that's going to pan out? It might turn out to get a price drop really early on. It might get like amazing reviews. You might want to buy it straight away. If there's a new one coming, why would you get the one that's already out? I think they would have factored that into their, their forecasts. And elsewhere in the news, Nintendo's SNES Mini Classic console has been selling like hotcakes in some part of the world, only it hasn't, because there aren't enough of them to actually buy. As has been well publicised up to now, Nintendo's ingenious method of making a new product that's sure to sell millions and then deliberately not making millions of it available for sale has proven yet again to be a masterstroke of sales strategy. Pre-orders for the SNES Mini Classic immediately dried up here in the UK, and they never even made pre-orders available in North America. But some patient fans thought they might have gotten lucky when US retailer Walmart appeared to put a fresh batch on sale. Walmart accidentally set their console order page live late last week, and fans who spotted it rushed to place their orders. It all seemed so promising. But in a cruel twist of fate, Walmart then began cancelling those orders seemingly at random, before finally, a whole week later, confirming that all orders made through that page will be cancelled. It was a mistake. You can't pre-order the SNES Mini Classic. This is all part of Nintendo's fiendishly brilliant plan to make less money than they otherwise could. Customers in North America will have to wait until the console's September 29th release date before they can get their hands on it.
Why are they doing this? Do they think that they get loads of publicity out of people queuing in the streets before or the night of launch? Is that why they're doing it?
It's a very interesting approach to making money, isn't it? I'll have less of that, please, is what they're saying. I don't understand what the policy is. They obviously have a reason, they just haven't communicated it to the world. It's just a sorry state of affairs when somebody can accidentally put one page live and then everybody will rush to order it. They're desperate to get their hands on it, and then immediately, there's cancellations flying out all over the place. And yet again, those people are disappointed, so they have to wait again until September the 29th until they can actually buy it. You can't pre-order it in America, you can pre-order it everywhere else in the world. Why?
Well,
why?
I mean, if you ask me, I think it's a brilliant way to ramp up the hype and the expectation. Get people like at fever pitch about it, and because of that, they'll get loads of people getting really excited around the 29th of September. Maybe that's why they're doing it, just to piss people off,
punish people,
and and to get that hype train going. Yeah. And lastly, this week we've got a real heartbreaker for you. Blizzard are no stranger to shutting down fan projects without remorse or mercy. They famously took down the popular vanilla WoW server Nostalrius last year, and now they've done the same thing to another fan-made legacy server, except this one is just, oh, it's a sad story. The ambitious Felmist project was an attempt to return WoW to the same state it was in when the Burning Crusade expansion launched in 2007. For many players, the Burning Crusade represents WoW at its best, its absolute peak. So when Felmist came along and promised that experience again, they got their hopes up. And the server, which took 4 long, laboured years of work to produce, finally went live for 5 glorious hours. Yeah, a mere 5 hours after Felmist server went live, Blizzard issued a cease and desist, taking the server down immediately after 4 years of work. Felmist creator Gummy52 said the news came as a shock, and he basically sat around in disbelief for a few hours. Gummy was surprised because the project was pretty low-key, with only 3,000 players, and he paid for the server out of his own pocket, so he wasn't making any money off the project. Gummy also developed a vanilla WoW server back in 2011, which failed to attract Blizzard's interest at all. So this story is very heartbreaking. You can imagine spending 4 years of labour of love on this server, and 4 whole years, if it's 4 whole, that's a lot of time. That's like, what, 10%? 5% of somebody's life? It's a long time to be working on something just to be told 5 hours later that, it was all for nothing. It was all for absolutely nothing. You've wasted 4 years of your life. It seems heartless, doesn't it? It's cold.
Absolutely unbelievable. I can't believe. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's cold corporate reality. Just where the lawyers
it's a lawyer's letter as well, like cease and desist. If we allow this, stop that shit.
Their argument will be like, well, if we allow this, then we set a precedent for other such servers, and we would then open the door to all kinds of. I feel so bad for him. He was such a gentleman about the whole thing as well. He was just saying how he enjoyed doing it, and it was a big part of his life over the last 4 years. Of course it was. It's a huge project. It's an amazing achievement for him to have pulled it off. The fact that it was live for 5 hours, that is 5 hours of victory that he had, and that everyone who was able to play it for 5 hours.
1 whole year of your life for almost an hour, like an hour and a quarter.
Come on,
that's bad. You'd expect some sort of some reaching out or something. It's like we appreciate this, your passion for the project. Here's something, you know, here's some tickets for BlizzCon, or here's
World of Warcraft free for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
no subscriptions.
I mean, be nice to the guy. You know what I mean? I don't know. My heart breaks.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a shame of a story. It's just too contrasting. It's a very human effort and an experience for one guy, and an extremely flippin' ice cold response from the business, you know, overseeing all this stuff. Well done for doing it, man. Nice one. Good effort. And I hope that people enjoyed it for those 5 hours. I hope you got what you were looking for.
Obviously didn't, Mike. Obviously didn't at all.
That's not what happened at all, Mike. There's no light at the end of this tunnel.
Have you ever had 4 years of your life snatched away from you by a cold-blooded corporation? Let us know who it was down in the comments below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you are new around here. There's another one of our videos around about here, and you can support us on Patreon round about there on your screen if you want to. We'll see you again in the next video. Until then, bye for now.